My name is Sean McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. There's a catastrophe coming, an economic implosion, civil unrest, and a heavy-handed tyrannical government. This, I believe, is our unavoidable future. How can this be? The Dow Jones is at 14,000 points. Civil unrest? This isn't in the United States. This happens in other places around the world. But listen, the last several years have been nothing more than a transfer of failure from institutions that were deemed too big to fail and are now deemed too big to jail onto the people of this country and the world. In that same amount of time, our government has done everything they possibly can to give themselves the legitimacy to switch from soft tyranny to hard tyranny. This, I believe, is our future. 7.7% unemployment was recently announced. Dow Jones 14,500 points is screamed from every media outlet as the reflection of a recovery that's happening right now. But it's a reflection of our future being stolen and given to institutions that brought us here. In fact, we had Eric Holder coming out a week ago saying that he could conceive of a scenario where it would be constitutionally legal to kill an American citizen on U.S. soil. In this same hearing, he also said, even though it's completely fine to kill Americans under certain scenarios without any constitutional rights being afforded to them, there is institutions in this country that are so big that he cannot, as a chief, the top legal eagle of this nation, prosecute them because it would be too damaging to the economy. Did Dodd-Frank fix too big to fail? No, it guaranteed it. Unemployment rate, 7.7%. It's a lie. It's propaganda. We need to understand this. We don't want to be caught as deer in the headlight when this all comes crashing down. 7.7% unemployment. How do we get this number? Come on, they created 236,000 jobs in February, after all, but they didn't. They took 296,000 people out of the equation. This is how you lower the unemployment rate in a depressionary recovery. 296,000 people are no longer in the workforce that were there a month earlier. 236,000 jobs were told we were created. They lowered the unemployment rate. In fact, since 2008, our unemployment participation rate has fallen from nearly 63% to under 59%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do the math on it, it's millions of people who no longer exist, and propaganda fodder that can be presented to the people of this country. At the same time that all this hoop and all this celebration of recovery has occurred over the last several years, we've seen our national debt explode by nearly $6 trillion during this presidency alone. But at that same time, we've seen legislation come to pass that makes it completely legitimate and completely patriotic for our government to turn onto the people. Why would they need this kind of legislation? Why would they need drones, 30,000+ potentially, flying over this country? Why do we need an attorney general saying he can conceive of a situation where they could target Americans and kill them without any due process? Because they understand that this transfer of failure from a few institutions that were too big to fail are now too big to jail, transferring that failure onto you, the people of this country, is going to end badly. When the charade of recovery is over, the legislation that has been written and put into place will take effect. And we will see people in this country looking for payback, looking for looking for answers from the people who brought us here. They are going to be the ones that feel the heavy hand of tyrannical government. Economic implosion, civil unrest, and a tyrannical government trying to quell that unrest. I believe this is our future. Stories are attached. That's all I got.